Hey, good Sunday morning, everybody. It is a beautiful day. Had a little bit of rain yesterday, but here this morning, things are looking good. You might want to wear a sweater, and you might want to come down to 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California, because I can smell the chorizo cooking, the bacon and the chorizo, and the breakfast burritos, all on the house courtesy of El Patron Sport Fishing and Friedman Adventures, a way of us saying thank you to all of you for the great support you've given Friedman Adventures. And of course, El Patron will be running out of Puerto Vallarta, Mexico very, very soon. You'll be able to talk to the owners of the new boat, and that will be Ricky Carbajal, who's going to assist in the cooking, and Chris Isaac. And man, I'll tell you, they're two really knowledgeable fishermen, and it should be a really good morning. It is time for the morning briefing, and it is great to be with you all. Folks, listen, I know it's early, but you got to get up. You know what my friend Tom Durr says all the time?
Let's go. Chop, chop. Let's go.
That's right. Chop, chop. Get busy. Let's go. Tom is really big on that, and I'm dying to see you and really want to thank you for everything you've done for Friedman Adventures this year. And that means you give us a like, and please do that right now. Hit that like button, that thumbs up button. That means so much to our success. Thanks for doing that. So many of you are sharing our videos, helping us to build momentum and move ahead. And of course, so many of you have subscribed, over 5,000 now. I couldn't have dreamed this up as a possibility in my wildest dreams, and yet you made it all come true. So come on down today. We've got Brian Wynn and Roger Eckhart. They're down here to give you a seminar. And of course, they've got a table. So if you missed the seminar, which should be around 10 a.m., you can just go over there and get the seminar one-on-one. They're happy to do it. That's why they're here. So they are going to impart their knowledge about fishing, especially catching these big bluefin. But if you have a question about calico bass or catching an opaleye off the rocks, believe me, these two guys have done it all. They know how to do it, and they're really a couple of great human beings. So make sure you stop by and talk to them. And then speaking of great people, we've got Jeff from the 540 Slingers Club setting up out here. He's got a bunch of rods that you can pull on and ask questions about fishing the iron. They would love to get you in the 540 Slingers Club. Great group of guys. Jeff, thank you for your service. Thanks for being here. And folks, I'm telling you, you're going to love those two guys. And of course, we've got some raffles going on with great prizes. And if you can, we would love you to buy some raffle tickets. It helps us produce more content, helps us move into the future. It would really be deeply appreciated if you could buy a few raffle tickets or make a donation to our Mexico efforts. That would help us a lot. All right, let's get into it because we've got some fishing information to talk about. And unfortunately, the weather has kind of gone to spit here over the last 12 hours or so. It's windy. We had that front move through on Saturday evening, dropping, I don't even want to call it rain. It was kind of misty, cooler, but wind followed it up. And that offshore region, and I'm talking out to the west near Tanner Bank and San Clemente, is getting roughed up. The water temperature is dropping a little bit, and the water's more off color. Boats that were out there on Saturday didn't do great, but they didn't do all that bad either, considering that the weather was just starting to come up. By Saturday at sundown, it was pretty darn tough. But there were a few guys who had some decent scores out that way. The Pride had around 20 bluefin tuna. Not bad at all for those guys. And a lot of that fish, as I've been telling you, is daytime fish. Tribute had up there around a dozen fish. The Condor, 16 to 185 pounds for 31 novice anglers. There's nothing wrong with that kind of a score. The El Dorado was out there. He had 4 bluefin and a yellowtail, and then they decided to rockfish everybody out, and they provided some great table fare for their anglers. So again, scores were down a little bit, but we have seen some really outstanding fishing out there, including lately 300-pounder over on the Navigante. Joe Martinez, who will be here with his lovely wife, Grace, this morning. They'll be arriving shortly. And Joe had one that was 218 on board the Endeavor. So there has been some really good hits out there in that neck of the woods. And as we look across the border, normally I start in Ensenada, but I'm excited about today here at 22nd Street Landing. Incidentally, don't forget, bring the kids down in their Halloween costumes. They get to trick or treat to a couple of the tables out here. They'll get some candy, and they will get a lot of applause from everybody here. So bring them down. Oh, down there in Ensenada, we continue to see good fishing Not consistent. It's not consistent anywhere right now, but there's been some good hits down there in that neck of the woods. We've seen down there blackfin sport fishing on Punta Banda. Incidentally, Victor should be arriving shortly. He's coming up from Blackfin to spend some time with us, and I'll set him up with a table if he wants me to. If he just wants to meander around and meet everybody, well, I highly recommend you say hi to him. But they've been catching dorado, yellowfin tuna, some bluefin tuna down in that neck of the woods. Not bad at all. You just have to get that right jig strike, primarily on those yellowfin tuna, which range from 5 to 40 pounds, sometimes even bigger than that. Those bluefin tuna are anywhere from 20 to 60, and sometimes they get up to 200 pounds. And then the dorado anywhere from 8 to 20 plus pounds. It's been pretty good down there, considering that we've had a little bit of wind down there over the past 24 hours. Once again, tackle is really important. One of our sponsors, you can see him over my shoulder, is Offshore Fluorocarbon. They put out such a great product. We highly recommend you use it. You want to be fishing with 25 and 40 pound. You want to have 2 rods and reels. 25 and 40 pound fluorocarbon. You can have a Spectra on there, and then a top shot of the Opsin will do you really, really good. Incidentally, www.opsinusa.com. Put in FA at checkout. That is the way to get it done. And hook sizes, I want you to have from a number 2 size hook to a 2.0 size hook. Why that disparity? Because remember, you are going to look at the bite when you go into it, and you're going to judge it. You're going to say, man, this thing is wide open. Quadruple jig strike back there. The 2 guys that went in with bait are already bit 40-pound 2.0 size hook. Or you're going to see a kelp, you're going to toss a bait on the heavy string, and you see the dorado on it, and they are not biting, they are not biting, they are not biting. You're going to go to the number 2 size hook and the 25-pound, and even lighter than that. But those 2 rods are essential right now for fishing down there in Ensenada and fishing south of there. When the boats you're on out of San Diego go that way, down south, they're looking for that smaller grade yellowfin tuna and good dorado fishing. I love that. That kind of action is so much fun. And we still see quite a bit of that dorado and quite a bit of that smaller grade yellowfin down there at about 90 miles. So day and a half trips are still down there doing pretty well. Not every day, it is inconsistent, but doing pretty darn well overall, and hopefully that's going to continue. But we need to get through this choppy weather. Down that way, it's not as bad. It's out to the west where you've got the really bad weather. So you come out of Point Loma and you hang a left and you go down the beach there, and for the most part, the weather is pretty good. How about that Malahini? Vern, a great guy who's going to be here in just a few more moments. There he is with a nice dorado. The Malahini with limits of dorado. Mexican limits, that's 2 fish per rod on Saturday. Nice hit for our friend Bill Wilkerson, another great sponsor of Friedman Adventures. Is there anything better than fishing with Bill? I don't think so, man. Go back and listen to his podcast, and you'll find out why so many people, so many fishermen love Bill Wilkerson. It's easy to do. He's such a great guy. So they had limits, a couple of other boats. Those day boats also had good dorado fishing. Some missed, however, and that has been the situation here recently. You find the right kelp, you can get well. You don't find it, you have a really long day. And there has even been some problems with a little bit of fog from time to time. Fog hinders the ability to see things, and if you can't find a kelp because it's pea soup fog, that can hinder things up also. But overall, still pretty darn good, and we hope that we continue to head in the right direction. When you're out there on Tanner Bank itself, the grade of fish that we saw was mostly 12 to 25 pounds, but we got flashed by that 40, 50 pound, 60 pound stuff and saw that 100 plus pound stuff blowing out of the water all over the place. That bite starts at daybreak on Tanner Bank. Now, who knows? We may have a new hand, a new deck of cards is being shuffled up right now with this weather change, but it started at daybreak. You did not catch a fish in the gray. Sun started to come up, boom. We started to get a bite, plunker bite, 3, 4, 5 fish going like that, and seeing more and more fish. Guys fishing the lighter stuff were getting bit most of all. Some guys dropped down to 20 pound to get a bite. Some guys got them, some guys did not, but they could get a bite. And of course, choosing a really good hot bait made a big difference. At 11 a.m., baby, that thing shut off. We picked a couple of fish after that, but just like clockwork, it shut off. at about 11 o'clock. The nighttime bite and those bigger fish, you need to have heavier tackle. We had some fish up over 100 on our trip with the Legends of Sport Fishing just the other day. So you definitely want to have 100, 130 pound spectra, 200 pound leaders when you're fishing the jig. If you're sinker fishing with a bait, you can get away with the heavy stuff at night also. A lot of guys are fishing 60. I prefer a little bit heavier than that because, you know, these fish have teeth and they can chew through the stuff. So again, we'll have to see where everything settles after this blow. Will the water temp reduce to the point where that bluefin moves? That could well be. Now, I don't think it's going to leave. I do not think it's going to leave. But I do look at the weather here, and we're going to come out of this and then get some decent weather, and then we're going to blow up about Tuesday evening again, if the forecast is correct. So we're going to have to get through all these weather changes, and that's going to move the edges of warm water to different areas. It's going to reduce water temp. We may go into a lull, we may not. We'll just have to wait and see. And most, as I said, of this is out to the west, out there near Cortez, Tanner Bank, San Clemente Island. Down the Baja coast, not so much. Going to be choppy, going to be breezier, but way more breezy outside. So we'll keep our eyes on that for you very closely. Heavier tackle on that nighttime bite, and you want knife jigs from 200 grams to 500 grams because for the long range boys that are going to gut this out, they're going to need 500 grams. When the captain says drop down to 350 feet, you drop down to 400 and then come up through that. And that is Joseph Martinez, who I said was going to be here, and he should be here at any moment. Once again, Joseph Martinez is a really great fisherman who gets it done all the time. So you're going to want to go with that heavier stuff, that is for sure. Once again, we're here at 20 I've got more for you, but we're here at 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California, and we've got this great day to thank you all for our 1 million views on YouTube. Can't thank you enough for that. We've accomplished that in less than 2 years, all due to your great support. Please give us a like right now and make sure you get down here. You know, do I have to get Tom on you again?
Let's go. Chop, chop. Let's go. Chop, chop.
Yeah, there he is. Once again, Tom with the chop, chop. Starting to drive me nuts, Tom. All right, folks, let's talk islands. We'll go down to Todos Santos Island, right off of Ensenada there. They've got yellows and big bonita there, good bottom fishing. At the Coronado Islands, we'll see what this wind does to it. It's not that breezy in there, but man, their yellow bite has been spectacular. I want to say anywhere from 30 to 100 yellows are extremely possible right now when you go out there on a sport boat. It's deep fish, so yo-yo iron and a dropper loop is probably the best way to make that happen right now. Really great fishing going on at the Coronado Islands. At Catalina Island, we've been flashed with some really good yellowtail scores here recently, and I mean good scores, like 40 on the freelance a couple of days ago. We'll see what this wind does to it because Cat is going to get some wind. That west end of Cat's going to be up there around 20 knots, so we'll see if water temps degrade and fish move around a little bit. We saw a little bit of a reduction in terms of the counts. The Pursuit had a couple of yellowtail and a white sea bass, a little bit of bonita and barracuda and bass, but pretty tough day overall. Same thing over there on the Sport King. Pretty good bonita fishing with a couple of yellowtail to go along with that on Saturday. But we do have this change in weather, dropping the barometer, and sometimes that results in slower fishing. Now, Clemente has also had some yellow. It's getting some wind. We'll see what that does. Santa Barbara is going to get a lot of wind right now, and so that could change. They've had yellowtail, good bottom fishing, and the Channel Islands is going to be breezy out there here on Sunday. And that's going to blow up again up there. It looks like Tuesday evening. So you're going to have to watch that weather and see what it does. There's been some sea bass and there's been some yellowtail up there in the Channel Islands and occasional halibut and copious amounts of rockfish. It's been really good. And this is a good time for me to talk to you about market squid. It has been incredible, the amount of market squid that's moving in. It's all over Catalina Island. It's all over Clemente. There's squid at Santa Barbara in the Channel Islands. Up there in the Santa Monica Bay, there's squid on the beach here in Huntington now. It's a really good start to the year in terms of that squid. And the reason I mention it is because sometimes providing that as bait for sport boats in the fall and winter can result in some really good action on yellowtail and sea bass and so much more. But more than that, it's a magnet in the food chain that just draws predators in, draws more and more predators like sea bass and halibut and yellowtail and other stuff too. They move in, they follow that biomass of squid, and they camp out for a while. I think we're setting up for another great spring up there in the Channel Islands for sure. And who knows, maybe Cat, one of these days we'll go back to the old days where that place used to be the epicenter of white sea bass fishing. So that's looking good. Along the coast, the wind is not as bad, so we still are picking at the bonita and a few barracuda occasionally, a few calico bass. Pretty good calico if you're talking about shorts, so good action. An occasional decent bite on the legal fish also, and sculpin, rockfish, that kind of stuff up and down the coast. But Sunday's going to get a little breezy in some areas also. And surf fishing, okay, there's some yellowfin croaker around. Spotfin croaker like to bite in the fall, and we've certainly seen that on the natural baits here recently. And an okay halibut bite here and there. We're over the grunion runs for the year, so we don't have that biomass move in on the beach and act as a magnet anymore for all those species, but there's still some decent fishing. And as the water temperatures cool in the surf, you just start catching other types of fish like barred perch that love that cooler water. They don't like that hot water, so they'll start to bite. Folks, I'm telling you, it's a great day for you to come down to 22nd Street Landing, because I want to shake your hand and say thank you for making Friedman Adventures so strong so quickly, and we intend to grow this channel into many other areas with many new shows in 2023. It's a great day, so don't lay around anymore. I know it's early, but chop chop, let's go. It's time to get going. And of course, I'll see you down here this morning right up until 12 noon. We're probably not gonna go running out of here at 12 noon, but once again, 8 to 12, that's the official hours. We'll probably hang out a little bit more. Don't you dare come down here without an appetite, okay? We've got breakfast burritos. I can smell them. They smell so good right now in my mind. And also hot coffee for everybody. Water, if you prefer to drink water, we've got your water all free, all free. Come out, buy some raffle tickets, participate in that. That would mean a lot to our success. All right, have a great morning, everybody, and we're here waiting for you at 22nd Street. See you in just a little bit. Take care, and thanks for everything you've done for me personally and for Friedman Adventures.
Let's go. Chop chop.